It's Sunday, May 5th, 2013. This is Neon and Beyond. I'm your host, Andy Kay. This morning, we're going to talk about suicide prevention. My guest today is Matthew D. Dovel, and this is his story. He's died twice already. Once he drowned at the age of 12 and went into the white light and came face to face with God. He was told that he had work to do and was sent back. Then at the age of 25, on May 29th, 1987, he attempted to return to heaven in an attempted suicide, had another near-death experience, but this time he spent 3 days in hell. Once again, he was sent back and was told again that he had work to do. Since then, he's written a book called My Last Breath, has been featured on Good Morning America, 2020, numerous other TV, radio, and print articles. More recently, last year, Matthew Dovel was on I Survived, Beyond, and Back. Good morning and welcome, Matthew.
Good morning, Andy. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate all the time you give me and our organization.
Matthew, this all pales in comparison to your work with the suicidal, and after 26 years, he's uncovered a major breakthrough in suicide prevention. As the president of International Suicide Prevention, a 501c3 public charity nonprofit, Matthew has penned a self-help pocket suicide prevention guide booklet and is now here to share this good news with us. Matthew, what is the suicide prevention guide booklet, and how is it different than other booklets on suicide prevention?
Well, first of all, good morning.
Thanks.
Thank you again. The Suicide Prevention Guide booklet is a suicide prevention self-help guide pocket booklet that can reduce or desensitize the emotions attached to a perceived traumatic experience or future anxiety-creating incident, and it can change current behaviors through healthy new living habit techniques. It is a unconventional, holistic approach to address a human condition with easy to follow instructions. There are 4 main topics in this booklet. It's very small, but it's very compact with the knowledge that's inside of it. The first section is how to reduce suicide rates. 2 is methods for promoting healthy mental behavior. 3, how to identify at-risk individuals, and the 4th section is probably the most important. It carries one of the breakthroughs that I've uncovered, and it's a procedure for reducing and or eliminating suicidal thoughts. And we're not addressing actually the suicidal thoughts, we're addressing the cause of those thoughts.
Okay.
And we have to go backwards in order to address that. Studies determine that these 4 areas can reduce suicides dramatically if they're implemented correctly. Best of all, this information now fits inside your pocket. You can carry it anywhere with you and always have it available to you when you need it. You will need this booklet if you can't answer this one simple question quickly. What are people more afraid of than death? And the hint is that there are 2 fears we're born with. The first fear is the fear of falling, and the second fear is the fear of loud noises. And these fears are not the ones that people are more afraid of than death. That one is actually the fear of judgment. People are afraid of being judged by others more than they are of killing themselves. And it's a long, drawn-out explanation, but we don't have time for that today because there's a lot of information we need to cover.
Okay.
But if you address the fact that people are afraid of judgment, you have to understand that we're lacking compassion in our culture. And it's not a limited to the United States, it's limited to all cultures worldwide. The ones who have the lowest suicide rates are the ones that are more community-minded individuals and communities. Now we go back to the next section of...
Okay. Let me Is suicide a permanent solution to a temporary problem?
And that question has been asked of me many times. And the fact is that it is. And it's a bold statement to say that, because what I'm saying is, if you can take away and remove the cause of somebody's suicidal thoughts, then it is a temporary problem. It's not permanent. And permanent is, I'm going to die of terminal cancer, and there's no treatment for it. That's a permanent situation. It's not going to change. Especially if you're in stage 4 of cancer.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably going to die pretty soon. They don't know when exactly, but you're going to die. But suicide is a temporary problem, because I'll tell you why. What we've found is that there are 2 types of memories. The first memory is your physical memory, and that's where you experience life, and it's like a TV screen in your head. You can go back to when you were 5 and you had cake on your birthday, and you remember everything. You remember the sights, sounds, smell, taste, everything. Boom. Well, there's an emotion attached to that experience, and now we can remove that emotion attached to that specific experience. That experience is called a IES, and that is a intense emotional. I just lost it.
It's all right.
It's okay, Andy. You know, every time I look at you, I start laughing. Because I start thinking about fruit. What can I say? I try to keep this an upbeat interview.
It's an inside joke, Matthew, and I have about fruit. It's very important to have your fruit.
IES, intense emotional suffering. That's what it is. Okay, I'm back on track. Intense emotional suffering. This is why people kill themselves. They have an intense emotional suffering, and this can be a result of having been abused, molested, raped, assaulted, incest, war, murder, oppression, divorce, moving, devastation, neglect. Those things in themselves cause a spike in our emotional sense. Basically, we peak. Like when somebody slaps you, you peak. You peak emotionally. Either you have an angry response to that, or you have a whatever your response is. It's shock, but you remember everything that happens at that moment, and you're going to remember that for years.
Right.
Now, what we do is we desensitize you to that experience, and what traditional therapies are the same thing. You talk about, hey, he slapped me. I hate him for that. You know, you go through the whole experience, and it takes you maybe weeks, months, years, or your whole lifetime to be desensitized to that experience.
Okay.
Now, what we do, we desensitize you in a matter of 5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't hook you up to the wall socket or anything like that. I don't restart your engine.
Okay.
There's a process that I've developed that takes 5 minutes, and I just talk to you, and at the end of 5 minutes, you're done. And you literally will have no memory of ever having been to the point where you're suicidal. I mean, there's no memory. It goes back. It could be when you were 5, and it goes back to that point and readjusts your whole brain. It takes about 48 hours, and you're done. I never hear from people again. They're still alive because I check on them.
Oh, okay.
Because they don't call me anymore. I'm talking people call me hourly.
Yeah.
And,
They call
speaking
you
of
now?
which, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Have to turn that off. That is an emergency, but it's my wife.
Oh, okay.
But she knows I can call her back.
Good.
If it was somebody else, I would take the call.
You would have to.
Yes. But like I said, the emotions are not part of our memories, but they are stored right above your ears, just before your temple. There's an area there your emotional memories get stored, and it's like pockets of energy, and they peak. When they peak, they get stored in a pocket that basically controls your entire life. The reaction and your experience of life in the future is controlled by that experience, especially if it's a very, very intense one. like you were raped or
Right.
molested or something. I mean, those are pretty serious ones.
Yeah,
I mean,
very.
but you could have your house burned down when your children could die. I mean, those are pretty serious experiences, and it could traumatize you for your future experiences. And what I do is I go back to that experience, desensitize you to that experience. Literally, it's like you're watching somebody else's life afterwards, and there's no emotional response to it.
All right, let me go on to the next one. Who is endorsing this booklet, Matthew?
Okay, this is very important because I could be just some whack job giving you a booklet and saying, hey,
Oh,
this
no, I've known
works.
you for years, Matthew.
So you know I'm a whack job.
No. You know, you bring light on a tough subject.
Well,
And
it's
I've always
a very
admired you for
crazy job because I go out and I
What?
clean up suicide scenes
Mhm.
for families for free, and I spend hours in these situations where it's worse than any type of movie you can experience, and I'm like, wow. I'm cleaning up this scene, and one of my buddies and I are cleaning it up, and he's like, you know, the economy is bad. Things are going to get pretty weird pretty soon. And I'm like, well, how much weirder can it be than what we're doing right at this moment? But the endorsements.
Yeah.
I have some serious endorsements on this booklet that are I'm even impressed. The first one is written by a doctor. He's a PhD. He is a psychotherapist and executive director of Men's Center in Los Angeles. He just penned a new book called The Sacred Path on the way of the spiritual warrior. It's on Amazon.com. He's been he's got 3 advanced degrees and was awarded a fellowship in rehabilitation psychology from the University of Southern California. He has been a licensed psychotherapist, consultant, and educator for over 40 years, full-time practice with offices in Beverly Hills and Woodland Hills. He holds 2 counseling credentials and national certification in rehabilitation, as well as state license in marriage and family therapy. Back in 1972, he's been licensed since 1972.
Wow.
And his name is Stephen J. Johnson. He wrote about the booklet. The Suicide Prevention Guide booklet is compact and to the point, offering insights and useful information, including simple techniques and strategies that can make a difference when it counts the most. Matthew Dovel has answered the call to address one of the biggest challenges facing our society today. Very, very nice gentleman. I'm very privileged to have him on the team.
That's great.
The next one is Dr. Andrea Silva. He is a physician in Italy. He is a orthopedic surgeon, a member of the Rotary International. He also reviews many of America's and European journals, medical journals, namely military medicine. He is a reviewer of those. He also took the booklet and he converted it to, or translated it into Italian. So there's actually an Italian version of this booklet now, and it's available online as well. He wrote, very interesting, and what is more simple, it is simple. It is very important to get a message in the simplest way possible, so it will work as a high-impact source of know-how to face possible suicides. And this is Dr. Andrea Silva, very, very nice man as well, and I'm very privileged to have him as well endorse this booklet. The last one is John LaVille. He is one of the premier people in the NLP Society. He's the president of the Society of NLP, which is Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It is the approach to communication, personal development, and psychotherapy created by Richard Bandler and John Grinder in California in the 70s. And he is basically the process of neuro-linguistic. It's basically how we learn and how we communicate with others and how we. It's very complicated. Neuro-linguistic programming is the most advanced study on psychology, and he just wrote he co-authored the Persuasion Engineering, which is again part of the neuro-linguistic programming. It's hard to follow this because it's very advanced technologies, but he works with Richard Bandler, the founder of NLP, and he's like a partner with him. Very very happy to have him on the team as well. And he writes, this small and seemingly simple book is actually loaded with great techniques, advice, and information that are seriously needed. And that's John Lavelle, the president of NLP Society.
In case you're just tuning in, this is Neon and Beyond. My guest is Matthew Dovel. He is the president of International Suicide Prevention. We're discussing his Suicide Prevention Guide booklet. Matthew, what does International Suicide Prevention need to see this information get distributed to those in need of its help?
Well, what we need is... I just lost my page.
That happens.
Okay, here it is. What we need is we need to get these booklets out. The point of the booklets was we needed to get the booklets to the people who need them.
Right.
And the people who need them are like high school students.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going like 15 directions at once, so I
okay.
apologize to your radio audience because it's like there's pauses and I'm thinking about a lot of things besides the radio interview, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
It's, you know, because I'm dealing with like the chiefs of staff at the Pentagon. I've been communicating with them because I want to get these to our service men and women that are serving. I don't know if you've heard, there's a problem. There's one active duty military person a day killing themselves, basically on average, and then we're losing 32 vets a day to suicide. That's beyond my capacity to comprehend that number, because that's not acceptable to me. And that's why I created this booklet, to help individuals like that are worried about coming forward and saying, you know, I'm having this problem, I don't want to lose my job, I don't want to lose my position in the military because I'm having a moment. Which it is a moment. It's not a permanent mental illness. And again, this booklet is designed for people who are having moments. It's not for people that are mentally ill or under some psychological medication. If you're under the care of a physician and he's giving you some type of medication to prevent you from killing yourself and you're having suicidal thoughts, you need to go back to your doctor and say, because on the bottle, when a psychotherapist gives you medication, on the bottle says, if you're having suicidal thoughts, stop taking this and call me.
Right.
So that's why I say this booklet's not meant for individuals that are under the care of a doctor or a physician. It's not meant to treat anybody that's under treatment or care of a physician. So those people need, if you're taking medication and you're having suicidal thoughts, call your doctor and say, I'm having these thoughts, because they want to know if you're having the problem, and they'll tell you, stop taking the medication, come see me immediately. So what we want to do is we want to get these to the hospitals. We want to have them available for free for anybody. We want to have them free-handed available to high school students, which is like over 20,000 high school students in Las Vegas alone. I'm talking nationally now, where there's a lot. Active duty military, there's 1.4 million active duty military personnel I want to get these to. There's 27 million vets. There's healthcare facilities I want to get these booklets in. ISP has a goal to get these in colleges, libraries, unemployment offices, anywhere where there's homeless shelters, shelters for battered women, law enforcement agencies. There's a huge group we want to get these to, but we are realistic. We know we can't get these everywhere because the cost is prohibitive. So the booklets right now, what we're looking for is corporate and private sponsors.
Okay.
And basically, to print 10,000 of these booklets is $3 a piece.
Oh, wow.
The booklets will have the sponsor's name on the back as an endorser and sponsor, and they will have a full-page ad inside the booklets. So it's actually beneficial. It's a win-win for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They will see on the website also what they're promoting, and they're paying for some of these booklets to go to a specific area. Like, I want to see these get to the military. Their name will be on those booklets. Mm-hmm. And then somebody says, well, I want these in high schools. And it'll say those booklets that they sponsor will go straight to the high schools.
Okay.
So there is a specific way that people can sponsor and say, I want these to go to the hospital because we're a hospital. We want to buy some of these to put in the hospital. Well, they're not actually buying them because it's a donation to ISP. It's a tax
deductible. You're a nonprofit.
Yes, right. So they're not only getting these in the hands of people that need them, but they're also getting a tax break for a donation they're making. The booklets will go directly to those that they think need them the most. And if they I don't know why I keep saying basically, but
It's just you, man.
the bottom line is, if you buy more, the price goes down.
Absolutely.
Or if you sponsor more. You sponsor 100,000 booklets, it drops down to $1.50 a piece.
Okay.
So 1 million booklets, they're probably around 25 cents a piece, something like that.
Oh, cool.
Ideally, we would like to have sponsors do that. The other thing we really want to get started is we want to get a office space, which we have millions and millions of square feet of office space that's vacant in Las Vegas right now.
Right.
We desperately need a 10,000 square foot facility so that we can have a place that people can come. This booklet has a procedure in here for desensitizing you to situations like your boss fired you and you want to be desensitized to that experience so you can go out and get a job and you're not in a fetal position in your bed for a week.
Right.
So this book has a technique for that, but there's another one that I can do. This technique takes you about 15 minutes.
Okay.
The technique I have, it takes about 5 minutes. And that one, I want to have a facility that vets or anybody that's having a problem can come to, and I can give them this procedure, 5 minutes, have somebody else trained to do the same thing, and they can go. They can start their life. They can start having quality of life that everybody deserves. That's the whole point.
Okay, gotcha.
And they don't have to keep coming back for treatment. It's one-time shot. Bam, you're done.
Oh, cool.
Go away.
Okay. Okay. How would someone get a hold of you or contact ISP?
Well, your voice is much more pleasant than mine. You can you can read that if you would like.
All right, to get a hold of Matthew, the mailing address is ISP 1736 East Charleston Boulevard, Suite 301, Las Vegas, Nevada 89104. Matthew's phone number is area code 702-743-4340. You can email Matthew, president at supportisp.org, and check out the website, www.supportisp.org. I'll be giving that out again in about 5 minutes, 6 minutes from now, so if you didn't catch it now, grab a pen and paper. I'll give it to you at the close of the program. How long did it take you to put together the booklet, Matthew?
Took me 26 years.
Okay.
So it wasn't just thrown together. The problem with
experience, knowledge.
Yes, experience, knowledge.
Research.
The problem with the booklet was that I have a lot of experience and I needed to get it condensed, because when you're in a state of suicidal thought, you're down to one choice, and you don't have a lot of options as far as your focus is very narrow, and you don't. That's the problem the military is having right now. Because I pretended, hey, I'm in the military, I'm suicidal. What do? I go on the internet and I type, I'm in the military, I'm suicidal. A billion things show up.
Wow.
And it's very confusing. It's confusing to me. So if it's confusing to me, somebody who's suicidal is like lost.
Right.
And then you call somebody and say, well, let's make an appointment for next Thursday. Well, I'm suicidal today. I don't want to wait until next Thursday.
Right.
And by then it's too late.
Right.
And right now, the booklet helps you right now.
Right now, that's
very important. And the funny thing is, when you do the procedure in here, you don't remember having had that issue be a problem for you. You don't remember it. There's no memory of it. You remember the incident, but it doesn't stand out in your mind anymore.
Okay. It's not at the forefront.
Right. It's way in the back. You can go back and look at it, but it doesn't matter because you don't have an emotional attachment to it anymore. The procedure, we're updating the website. I don't know how much time do we have?
We got about 4 minutes.
Okay, on the website we're updating it. There are 4 videos of this booklet, basically, where I talk people through the booklet, and by the time this airs, it'll be on the website.
Okay.
And people can go to the online training, and there's 4 videos describing each section of this booklet. And they can see more clearly and how to be more effective with the booklet and make it the best outcome for them. So we want to have that available to them. We're also going to be doing an online training that professionals can do with the booklet, so they can say, it takes about an hour to do the training because there's actually a test at the end.
Right.
But anybody can take the training. Anyone can watch the videos. They're free to watch.
Okay.
And they can say, well, I want to help my grandmother, you know, or I want to help my mom, or I want to help myself. Then go on and watch the online videos and say, okay, now I can use this book to the best ability that I can. And it's really a great training that I've been working on for months now. And it's at the end of the process to get that part of it. I wanted it to be available to anyone worldwide. They can also download this booklet for free online. It's a PDF. There's an Italian version that can be downloaded for free. It's being distributed through the Rotary right now, here and in Italy. Italy is having a huge problem right now because their economy is way worse than ours. And it's really affecting their culture in a way that they didn't expect. They look at things a little differently than we do, and we've almost become desensitized to suicides in our culture because there's so many of them, and they don't allow us to see the aftermath as a general public. And what happens is that desensitizes us to that experience, and it's still happening.
Yeah.
It's not desensitizing those that it's happening to.
Right.
I guarantee that.
It's still happening.
And you're not alone. I mean, people are not alone.
People do think that.
Yes.
You know, they feel that they're alone, and be it if it's, you know, a relationship that's gone bad, or if they're in, having a financial situation, financial problems. They feel
You have financial problems, I guarantee you're going to be having relational problems as well.
Yeah. It's a domino effect. You know, there's no doubt about that, but the whole key is how to figure out how to be positive and get through it.
Right. And you know, the most, I've talked about this before, there are 3 types of people. There are audio people, visual people, and there are kinesthetic, which is feeling people, emotional people. Now, if you find out what your spouse is or your significant other, you can communicate more clearly with them because you say, well, I don't understand where she's coming from. Well, you're probably a visual person. Most men are visual, you know, and they're with a woman that's pretty, and she's probably an emotional person, and you're like, how do I deal with an emotional person? Well, she talks in the language of feelings and emotions, and she's into the story, where you're like, I just want to look at you.
You got about 40 seconds left, Matthew.
Well, I really want to thank you for having us on here, because this is going to change millions of people's lives.
I sure hope so. You want some more information from Matthew, go to his website, supportisp.org. Email him, president@supportisp.org. Or you can call Matthew 743-4340. That's 743-4340. Matthew Duval, thank you so much for coming in this morning, President of International Suicide Prevention.